Hi everybody, I'm Don Hinkle. On tonight's episode, we got some special guests. We've got Jodi Evans, who's a kitten foster for Front Street. We've also got some live kittens that you're going to get to see a little bit later. And this is going to be an incredible show, all dedicated to the kitten foster program at Front Street. And guess what, folks? It's kitten season, so stay tuned. This is Shelter Life. Hey everybody, so joining me tonight is Jodi Evans. And Jodi, first off, thanks for coming to the show.
No problem.
Jodi is a kitten foster for Front Street. What a special thing to be.
It's pretty amazing actually to have kittens come in and get to watch them grow and then find them the perfect family and basically see them graduate into their new lives.
Well, the thing about the foster program is a lot of people say it's the unsung hero, and Gina Knepp even calls it the backbone of Front Street, because as many animals that come through the doors of Front Street every year, cats, dogs, and kittens, there's no way they would all be able to be housed in that small facility. So fosters really are a vital part of making those kittens, dogs, and puppies find their forever homes, right?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, on average, they say about 3,500 kittens come to Front Street every year during kitten season, right? And sometimes kitten season seems to go a little bit longer than normal, as I recall, right?
Yes, yes.
So how did you become involved with fostering?
Well, you know, Front Street is always putting out calls asking for help, and one time they said, hey, we are overloaded with kittens, anyone who can come, and I ended up going to I think one of the largest classes last summer, and there I think were at least 100 people there, and everyone looking to help. And some people went home with kittens. I didn't end up going home with kittens that day. They ran out, which was the best thing to hear.
Wow.
But a couple weeks later, they started calling, and that's when I started bringing home kittens.
Well, it's amazing because, you know, you kind of say they ran out, but there's days when they get like 40 and 50 kittens in one day.
Today, I was at the shelter, and they got in 30 by the time I was there, yeah.
It's amazing that there's that many people who are willing to step up and foster these kittens. What's the most, what's the most you've had at one time, kitten-wise?
Only 13.
Only 13.
I say that because there are women who are just superheroes. They hide their capes, but they do the most amazing work, and they'll have over 20 kittens in their houses. And I can't imagine it, but they can manage it, and they do the best jobs. And this is my hobby.
Right.
I do have a regular job, but some of them have jobs, and they do this, and they make it work.
So you knew Front Street needed a foster. You went to the orientation class. You found out about it. What was the first time, your first set of kittens that you fostered? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And how was it?
It was exciting. It was scary. It was adorable. What I ended up doing was bringing home a mom and 2 babies.
Okay.
And they were so small, they were just barely opening their eyes. And actually, one of them was only her biological child. Another one had been placed with her to see if she could be
She had accepted
the mother. Yeah. And it worked out, and they both thrived, and all 3 ended up finding amazing homes.
So when you get the call from Front Street, is it usually, can you take more, or is it something we usually say, I'm going to have to pass right now? I mean, how do you decide how big your kitten clan is going to grow?
Well, this year they have implemented some new rules. We're going for cleanliness and safety and trying not to spread any kind of sickness between litters. So the goal this summer is to try to have 1 litter at a time. We'll see how that goes as the season progresses. So right now I only have 1 litter at home.
Right.
And what's going to end up happening is hopefully we'll just keep bringing on new fosters that will be able to take in litters as they come in.
I think one thing that's kind of a misconception that people may not know is that you're fostering and offering basically a home and your love and care. But Front Street provides pretty much everything else, do they not?
That's correct. They send you home with care packages, and they give you food and litter and a litter box and everything that you need to get started. If you want anything else on your own, you are more than welcome to purchase it. Like little fuzzy toys
Right.
for them to play with. I like to do that. But as you know, tax laws, that's tax deductible now.
Yes.
And so it's not a financial burden on a foster. What you're doing is providing your time and your love to just help kittens grow and be healthy.
Well, I know that, in the past, Front Street, really prior to Gina being around, there wasn't a whole lot of luck for some of these 40 or 50 kittens that were dropped off, in one day.
Right.
And, once the mentality and the culture changed at Front Street, it really was to save as many lives as they possibly could. And all of a sudden, this foster program just blossomed.
Yes.
And it keeps growing bigger and bigger every year. And I think that, I just want to say thank you, personally, because you're saving a life. And ultimately, the goal of everybody who works at Front Street, and really one of the main reasons we actually even do the show, is to get information out to save more lives. So thank you for that, first of all. But how can you raise these cute little kittens, right? And see them from, a couple weeks old or just a couple days old, and you raise them and they're getting all feisty and they're playing with the balls, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, Jodi, it's time for adoption, How do you deal with that?
Well, what I did was I came into it with the mentality of a foster in, a foster out. At home, I personally already have 2 dogs and a cat, and that is good for me. And the whole point of fostering is to get them to a point to be ready to join another family.
Right.
And what ends up happening is the enjoyment, the fulfillment comes from knowing that you've taken a kitten who either came from the streets or maybe not so good of a situation, and you've socialized them to the point that they will make an amazing addition to someone's family.
Right.
And that's where my happiness comes from.
So kittens come in a couple of different, shall we say, age brackets at Front Street, right? Yes. So I know that a lot of times they get, brand new baby,
yes,
like umbilical cord still attached kittens.
Yes.
And those fosters are called neonatal fosters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you done anything with that?
Not for Front Street.
Okay.
I actually did one when I was a child. I found a kitten that needed that. And I currently have a full-time job, and so I don't want to be getting up in the middle of the night and feeding babies. Again, there are women much better than me, and some men, who take on those tasks, and they are amazing at it.
Because don't they have to feed them like every 2 hours or
Yes,
something?
when they are brand new, it is every 2 hours. It is very important to make sure they don't get dehydrated. You have to keep them warm. You are constantly catering to their needs, and it's a round-the-clock job.
There was one orientation that I sat in and was observing prior to one of the shows we did, and I'll never forget it because the room was full, like you said, and all of a sudden an ACT came in. And at that point in time, I want to say Patrick and Joyce were called out of the room, and Joyce said, follow me. And it was 2 brand new babies with the umbilical cords. Mm-hmm. And watching those 2 go into action to save them was amazing. Now, unfortunately, one didn't make it, but one did. But heating up the heating pad in the microwave to keep the baby, keep it warm. I was like, my mouth was just dropped open because I couldn't believe it was like, they were trained obviously to do it, but they went into action so fast.
Yes.
It's like, okay, that's the mini OR and we've got to save these. And then seeing them grow, I followed that one that survived until adoption, and it was very heartwarming because I'm like, that one almost didn't make it, you know?
Right.
And we know that some don't, and that's sad, but more do.
With the program that you're talking about, with the ability to have so many different fosters come in and help, we have an amazing success rate.
It's absolutely amazing. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I think we have some photos of some of the cute kittens,
Yes.
don't we?
Yes, we
So we're going to check in the monitors, and when these photos pop up, I want you to tell me the cat, the name, the kitten, and how long you've actually had her.
Okay, so this is Bowie. She's obviously adorable. She is a medium hair dilute tortie, and I've had her at my house for 2 weeks. This is Harper. She is Bowie's sister, and so I've also had her for 2 weeks, and she's a short hair dilute tortie.
Absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable.
That's Harper again. She has the most amazing eyes. Look at that face.
And look at the personality. You can
Yes.
just tell. It's like, arr.
So this is
Love that
Leopold and Gus. they're at my house. These are all the same litter, like I said, and they have amazing personalities.
They are just adorable.
That's Bowie again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely.
having fun taking some pictures the other night. So
They're quite entertaining, right? I mean,
definitely.
you can't help but kind of giggle at kittens because you never quite know what they're going to do. And as you all can see, we've got a couple new guests on the set now. Now, who am I holding?
You're holding Harper.
Hi, Harper.
This is Harper Lee. Harper and Bowie actually have a home picked out.
Already.
A fellow foster had a friend who was looking for a couple of sisters, and she came over and met them and fell head over heels in love, and so she definitely wants to take them home. So the process then is once they reach 2 pounds, they can be fixed.
Right.
And as long as they are happy and healthy, after they're fixed, they can go on to their new home.
So I know that we kind of have adoption-a-thons at Front Street occasionally.
Right.
And during kitten season, they're probably more common than other times of the year. Harper. So one of the things that we were talking about earlier is how important the annex at Petco
Yes.
has been for kitten adoptions.
Yes.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So what ends up happening is when the kittens don't have a home lined up yet, they get fixed, and we do their little profile for their personalities, and they end up getting dropped off at Petco, where a very wonderful lady named Sherry Crum puts all of that online.
Yep.
And then runs the adoption center. So they get to go there, and they have a big kiddie room, and they have a lot of toys, and then they go get to meet the other fosters. And so they get to enjoy social time, and they get to play, and then people come and meet them, and they can look at their personality profiles, and they can say who might fit into my family.
Got
and
it.
then they end up picking a kitten usually.
These eyes are so
Isn't she pretty?
adorable. Oh my God. And you got the little purr going and everything.
She loves to purr.
Oh my gosh, they're so adorable. So I heard you talking a little bit earlier with some of your friends about something happening down south.
Yes.
What is it called?
CatCon.
CatCon.
Yeah.
As a knockoff on Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Explain that. What's that about?
Well, it's a weekend all about cats. Me and my friend Kim, I wrangled her into it, and she's just as excited as I am. And what it is it's down in Pasadena, California. It is next month, and it's a weekend full of kittens. It's a lot of products, but people will bring kittens there, and it's a lot of learning, and it's just fun for a cat lover.
Right.
It's a nice little vacation.
So how long have you been fostering total?
Do you want me to count just with Front Street?
You can count total years.
Oh, okay. Well, 30.
Wow. Wow, that's a long time. So when you've been fostering, obviously you've probably had some times that haven't been as fun as other times.
Sure.
But when one of the things I think maybe we should talk about too for people who might be interested in fostering is the fact that medical care is taken care of too, right?
Yes. Another thing that I do is I will volunteer to help at a shop clinic. All of the fosters volunteer.
Okay.
Well, not all of them volunteer, but it's all volunteer run for the most part, as long as we have people who are trained, capable, and have the time. One of my fellow fosters, Kara, she also does it all the time, and she's so amazing to work with. She's one of my mentors.
Okay.
And so they come in, we deworm them, we do flea treatments, and we do their 5-in-1 vaccine every 3 weeks. We weigh them, we basically check the general health of the kittens, and if anything needs to be addressed, we bring it to someone like an ACT, someone more capable.
You mentioned something that was really cool, and you said a mentor.
Yes.
So if somebody is brand new to fostering,
Yes.
are they kind of paired up with an experienced foster so that they can call them instead of like maybe calling Front Street all the time?
Definitely. There is an entire spreadsheet of amazing people who have been doing this for years and years. And just pick a name, pick a phone number, and start calling or texting, and everyone will return your call. It's amazing. Everyone is so helpful because everyone has the same passion, and it's to make sure that all these fuzzy little kittens live their best life.
How can you not fall in love with these cute little guys?
I don't know.
How can you not fall in love? So if you had to put a plea out there, because we know that this is prime kitten season.
It has begun.
You know, prime kitten season, and I always know that when kitten season hits at Front Street, Samantha grows lots of gray hair.
Yes.
You know, and what would you say to people who might be thinking about it, or maybe even have slight hesitations, to maybe say, you know, encourage them to participate? What would you tell them?
What I would say is go and take a class. There's absolutely no obligation to do anything. If you take a class, you do the orientation, what you can do is you don't have to take home kittens. What you can do is you can come help out at the shelter. You can do data entry. You can do filing. There are so many ways that you can help. And if you have any kind of vet experience, you can help with our shop clinic. There's many ways to help, or our fundraisers. We just did Sac Fry Fest last weekend. There are so many ways you can help that can help someone like me who maybe needed to work with their kittens that weekend. And so anything you can do, but no obligation. Just come in, take a class, see how it feels.
Well, I think you made a really, this is absolutely adorable. I'm sorry. You brought up something that we valid support, and we're really happy to support it, and we're usually there in full force, not necessarily working, but having a good time, are the fundraisers.
Right.
You know, Pasta Party, Brewfest, all these other ones. What I think, you know, we stress this every time we have the opportunity to talk about it, is we stress that these fundraisers are put on basically by the Friends of Front Street, right? And that really supplies the foster program with all their needed supplies, which is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I think people need to understand that without those major fundraisers, you know, a lot of these extras that Front Street does to save the lives wouldn't happen.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. Funding is so important because when it comes to money coming in, there's only so much to go around.
You're right.
And so when we can do something fun, educational, and also be able to bring in money for our important programs, it's a great opportunity.
So one of the things that I was kind of curious about is I've known quite a few people who have fostered kittens, and they all become very attached. Have you ever had a foster fail, or you just fell in love with one so bad that, whether with Front Street or your other place, that you just had to keep?
Yes. And I like to call that a foster keeper.
Okay.
Because that is not a fail.
Yes.
It's simply, you know, a commitment, I suppose. I've yet to foster keep with Front Street because, like I said, you know, you get older and you get a little bit better at not keeping every kitten that comes in your house. Right. I've learned the joy of raising kittens so that they can be members of someone else's family. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can hear this, but this one is just purring away. Absolutely adorable. Guys, look at you.
Oh, so I should say we switched over to Gus here.
Yeah.
This is Gus. He does not have a home lined up yet, but he's pretty adorable, and I'm sure my friends are going to fight over him.
And these all came from the same litter?
All from the same litter.
All from the same litter.
Well, it's possible for one litter to have more than one dad.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true.
So who knows?
So, is there a misconception, do you think, between this type of foster and then is there anything like with the feral colonies? Do we get those kittens as well at Front Street?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it all depends on when they come in. There are several fosters who actually specialize and really enjoy getting the kittens to learn to love human interaction.
Got it.
And so it's a lot of cuddling, which I'm sure everyone would like. And so if they end up being adoptable, then they're adopted out. And if that's not the life for them, they might end up becoming barn cats, or they can go back into their colony.
And actually, I'm glad you brought up barn cats, right?
Right.
Because a lot of people have this misconception that they have to be on a farm way out in the middle of nowhere in a barn. But farm cats are really good at kind of preventing other four-legged friends that we might call rodents or something?
That is correct. They're
Yeah.
very good for rodent control, and it's just a very biologically, environmentally friendly way of keeping the population down. Yeah.
So this has been really fun, Jodi, and these are just absolutely adorable. I mean, these guys, look at these guys. How can you not fall in love with this face? Look at this. So if they're interested in becoming a foster, they should probably check out, Front Street's website?
Front Street's website will have any and all classes available. You go to the orientation, or you go to the kitten foster class, and you'll learn all the skills you need. Once again, no obligation, but just, jump in both feet. No one regrets it.
No, I'm sure they don't. And like you said, the reward of watching a kitten grow
Yes.
and mature and develop, and then seeing it actually placed in its final home has just got to be a really good feeling, because you just saved a life, right?
Right.
And I think if more people would become involved and do that, I think that a lot of these little guys would find phenomenal homes. And you cannot help but look at these eyes and fall in love with this. And his purr is so good. Oh my gosh, he's a purr. He's going to be a singer. He really is. I really want to thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
It's a great message to get out there. Everybody, if you're interested in being a kitten foster, at Front Street, you really should check it out. It's a great opportunity to give love back to an animal that needs it. Front Street will help you with all the supplies. They'll help you with the medical care. You provide the love and a roof over their head. And I think that's one of the best things you can do to help these little guys, grow up and become mature kittens and part of the family. So how many fosters have you recruited to come and be a kitten foster? How many of your friends have you got on board?
I don't think I've gotten any yet.
You haven't?
No, but through my friends, I typically get hey, my friend is looking for a kitten. And so I've found that that's a really good way to place my pets.
Right.
My fosters.
There you go. Well, they are kind of your pets intermittently,
short
right?
term.
Yeah, they're your adopted pets intermittently. They really are. So, everybody, this is kitten season. So remember, if you see kittens laying in the street or in a box, Lord forbid, but if you see them, there is a place you can take them, and you can take them to Front Street, 2127 Front Street. If they don't have a mother, they'll take care of them. If the mother's with them, they'll still take care of them. We want these guys to have loving homes and be taken care of and not be left on the streets alone. Jodi, once again, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it so much. And he's on the mic now. And everybody, until next time, I'm Don Hinkle, and this is Shelter Life. Have a good night.
Hi, my name is Gina Knepp, and I manage the Front Street Animal Shelter for the City of Sacramento. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Shelter Life. As you've seen, our staff and volunteers work incredibly hard to make a difference for the animals in our community. We focus continuously on seeking new and creative ways to save lives. We know that with the support of people just like you, we can make Sacramento a safe haven for the animals that end up in our shelter. We also strive to be innovative, looking for ways to keep pets out of the shelter to begin with. Working together with that mission in mind, great things are possible. Thank you for joining us on this journey.